I want to start a video by saying Call Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Shalom to your brothers that are preaching and teaching truth worldwide. I want to say Shalom to the Lit. Today's lesson is entitled Defcon 1. So yeah, I'm going to read this definition. Defcon 1, just doing a lesson on United States will go to Defcon 1. And I'm bring a video out, then bring a couple scriptures. So what exactly is Defcon 1? So you got different levels of readiness. So Defcon 1 refers to the military, the maximum military readiness. It is thought that forces with a Defcon level of 1 are kept ready for immediate actions at all times. Defcon 1 is reserved for the absolute most dangerous, severe situations, including imminent or ongoing nuclear war involving the U.S. or one of its allies. That's why I make the statement. America will go Defcon 1 because, pursuant to the scriptures, America is going to be in a third world war and nuclear missiles will be shot off. So right here, if you read right down here, it says the U.S. has never reached Defcon 1. The highest is thought to have been was Defcon 2, which was during the Cuban Missile Crisis. So it's 5 levels. You got level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the different levels of Defcon. And we were in Defcon 2 on 2 separate occasions. It says the Cuban Missile Crisis and the beginning of the Gulf War in 1991. Right down here. Defcon 2. Right down here says Defcon 2 levels was in the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis and in 1991 the Gulf War. But it wasn't worldwide. Alright. So let me bring this right here. Let's go into the Cuban Missile Crisis.
It's not hard to imagine a world where at any given moment, you and everyone you know could be wiped out without warning at the push of a button. This was the reality for millions of people during the 45-year period after World War II, now known as the Cold War. As the United States and Soviet Union faced off across the globe, each knew that the other had nuclear weapons capable of destroying it. And destruction never loomed closer than during the 13 days of the Cuban Missile Crisis. In 1961, the U.S. unsuccessfully tried to overthrow Cuba's new communist government. That failed attempt was known as the Bay of Pigs, and it convinced Cuba to seek help from the USSR. Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev was happy to comply by secretly deploying nuclear missiles to Cuba, not only to protect the island, but to counteract the threat from U.S. missiles in Italy and Turkey. By the time U.S. intelligence discovered the plan, the materials to create the missiles were already in place. At an emergency meeting on October 16th,
Just a side note, that's part of the reason why Russia don't want America having Ukraine be part of NATO. Because when this goes on, United States was pissed off that Russia had those nuclear missiles pointed at the United States and Cuba. So you damn right, Putin's pissed off that United States wants to where Ukraine trying to become a part of NATO. They don't want them niggas in their backyard. Just like United States got pissed off when Russia put those nuclear missiles in Cuba. Because they're like, shoot, man, I'm in my backyard. So you gonna understand, the thinking of Putin when he say, yo, I don't want them to be a part of NATO. Because what y'all gonna do? Same way y'all put them nuclear missiles in Italy and in different countries like that. We don't want them pointed at us from Ukraine. So that's some of the stuff that they don't say in the media. But as you see in this video that I'm playing, as it continues to play, United States was just the whole thing of the whole Cuban Missile Crisis. I'm going to let it play a little bit more.
1962, military advisors urged an airstrike on missile sites and invasion of the island. But President John F. Kennedy chose a more careful approach. On October 22nd, he announced that the U.S. Navy would intercept all shipments to Cuba. There was just one problem. A naval blockade was considered an act of war. Although the president called it a quarantine that did not block basic necessities, the Soviets didn't appreciate the distinction. In an outraged letter to Kennedy, Khrushchev wrote, "The violation of freedom to use international waters and international airspace is an act of aggression which pushes mankind toward the abyss of world nuclear missile war." Thus ensued the most intense 6 days of the Cold War. While the U.S. demanded the removal of the missiles, Cuba and the USSR insisted they were only defensive. And as the weapons continued to be armed, the U.S. prepared for a possible invasion. On October 27th, a spy plane piloted by Major Rudolf Anderson was shot down by a Soviet missile. The same day, a nuclear-armed Soviet submarine was hit by a small depth charge from a U.S. Navy vessel trying to signal it to come up. The commanders on the sub, too deep to communicate with the surface, thought war had begun and prepared to launch a nuclear torpedo. That decision had to be made unanimously by 3 officers. The captain and political officer both authorized the launch, but Vasily Arkhipov, second in command, refused. His decision saved the day, and perhaps the world. But the crisis wasn't over. For the first time in history, the U.S. military set itself to Defcon 2, the defense readiness one step away from nuclear war. With hundreds of nuclear missiles ready to launch, the metaphorical doomsday clock stood at 1 minute to midnight. But diplomacy carried on. In Washington, D.C., Attorney General Robert Kennedy secretly met with Soviet Ambassador Anatoly Dobrynin. After intense negotiation, they reached the following proposal. The U.S. would remove their missiles from Turkey and Italy and promise to never invade Cuba in exchange for the Soviet withdrawal from Cuba under UN inspection. Once the meeting had concluded, Dobrynin cabled Moscow, saying time is of the essence and we shouldn't miss the chance. And at 9 a.m. the next day, a message arrived from Khrushchev announcing the Soviet missiles would be removed from Cuba. The crisis was now over. While criticized at the time.
All right, so as you can see, United States got a Defcon 2. And it all stemmed from, Cuba putting those missiles, Russia putting those nuclear missiles in Cuba. And the United States had missiles in Italy and Turkey. Now you fast forward now where, you got Ukraine trying to join NATO. What do you think the United States is going to do? Put them fucking nuclear missiles over in Ukraine. So these niggas are hypocrites. They got pissed off when Russia did it to them, but they trying to do the same thing. That's why you can't trust these damn devils, man. But as the lesson states, United States will go to Defcon 1 because it's prophecy. It is prophecy. It wasn't time for America to get destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. It wasn't the time. Hey, now we're approaching that time. So right here, I got Ezekiel 38 verse 10. I'm just going to get to the point on this one. Thus said the Lord power, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. So yeah, the Lord is putting an evil thought in Vladimir Putin, who's the president of Russia right now. The Lord put an evil thought in his mind. To do what? To eventually push that button. To launch them nuclear missiles at America, Babylon, and Great. This is the will of the Lord. The Lord is the one putting that evil thought in his mind. That's what it is. That's why he's so gung-ho right now. He's like, man, fuck it. What they say, risk it all? Vladimir, he ready to risk it all right now. Why? Because the Lord is putting an evil thought in his mind to do the thing that he's doing right now. To do what? Set up that third world war. Because this is the will of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, that this come to pass, that America goes to Defcon 1. So I got this Malachi 4 verse 1. For behold, the day coming, that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh of hosts, and it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So yeah, these Edomites, you're not gonna have any posterity. You're not gonna have any descendants. After that, you're gonna first and foremost gonna build up the kingdom of heaven for 1,000 years, but you're not gonna have a root nor a branch, because you're gonna be Obadiah 1:18. So it says, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. What can make the day burn as an oven? Thermonuclear destruction. And all the proud, Esau, Edom, you the proud. Yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. So yeah, all of our people that's joining to Esau, the so-called white man, you're going to be stubble along with this damn devil. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, said Yahweh of hosts, and it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So yeah, you're not going to have any descendants after that 1,000-year period of hardcore bondage. Verse 2, but unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. So yeah, so I just want to bring this out that yes, America, Babylon, and Great will go Defcon 1. So hopefully this lesson was edifying. Till next time, Shalom.